Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you today. This is me. I just got out of the gym. I feel freaking alive, and I feel freaking awesome. Last night, I had a lot of fun watching the WWE King of the Ring. Then they're going to be continuing on their week of WWE Network, trying to make the WWE Network really relevant to like must-see television. How, like NBC, CBS, ABC, whatever you want to watch. They always have, certain shows on at certain times. WWE Network, they had long-running series like the WrestleMania Recall. They had the Monday Night War series. And then since then, they've tried to kick off some new shows, but they don't really have set times when they're going to happen. Honestly, I thought that they really dropped the ball with the WWE Rivalry series. I thought that the first few episodes with McMahon versus Austin, even though it should have just been one episode instead of two, as well as the Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair, followed up by the Hardys versus Edge and Christian, and then Edge versus Matt Hardy, were really, really great episodes. And then they just dropped off the face of the earth, and we haven't seen them come back at all. Tonight we have the Mick Foley Have a Nice Night Cheap Pops comedy series. I know that a few years ago I went to a Mick Foley comedy show. He came here to Sacramento, California, and then last year he came back to Stockton, where I go to a few house shows. I was going to go to that, but it just didn't work out, where I was going to get off work in time in order to drive to Stockton and still be able to see the show. But honestly, in my mind, the Mick Foley comedy series, when he's been around here, I don't know if they're ever expensive anywhere else. For $25, you get an awesome night of comedy. And Mick Foley says at the show that basically he doesn't really feel like it's a real comedy show, so he does the free meet and greet session normally before or after the show to sort of give people a reason to come on out. But honestly, even if I wouldn't have met Mick Foley that night, I thought that, the show was well worth $25. I got there way early. I sat in the front row with a group of friends at a small table. I ordered some drinks, and we just enjoyed the night as they had an opener guy come out. I've heard that at the Mick Foley special that they did, they had Jim Ross come out, which will more than likely not be shown on the WWE Network due to his fallout, I guess you can say, in the worst term possible, with WWE, with him not being under contract anymore and him sort of working outside of the company a lot. I don't know why Jim Ross isn't a part of the company, but he needs to be. But Mick Foley comes out and just tells, road stories about his career. He talked about going to a sex club that was in, I believe, in Germany with The Rock and Al Snow and some wrestler who I guess was basically a borderline job guy that was in the company at the time, and just how much fun he had that night watching the live sex, and then watching the guy with the incredibly large Dugan, and then noticing that he was wearing a knee brace and that he was actually working hurt that night. And then once the act was finally over, he went to the bar and started making out with some guy, and made the conclusion that he was doing the live sex show, and he wasn't even doing it because he liked it. He just was doing it because that's what probably paid the bills for him. And is an incredibly large Dugan. But Mick Foley is a guy who's traveled the road with a lot of great guys. He's been at the top of the card with The Rock. He's best friends with a lot of the wrestlers. He has stories about Diamond Dallas Page, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's going to name drop a lot of things. So I'm really looking forward to this special tonight. And definitely you should go over to the WWE Network and really check it out. I don't know if this is like the foreseeable future of the WWE Network is making all this must-see television, or if it's just because they're coming up on the end of a month that's going to be free. And they want to make sure people see that it's well worth the $10. Who is out there who hasn't tried the WWE Network at least once, who's getting this actual free month? I have no clue. But definitely, I've been a subscriber since day number one, and I've never felt like I never got my money's worth. Every month, there's the pay-per-views which have taken over the WWE Network, and there's the back catalog of all the old events that have gone down, and since then they've added Saturday night main events. They've added years worth of the Attitude Era Monday Night Raws, the things that people are really clamming for, that people really want to see and relive once again. I wish I didn't have a job. I wish I could just sit in front of my TV and had no responsibilities, and could watch all this stuff. There's so much stuff up there. It's hard to even fit in time to watch all these things. I know when the WWE Network was out last year, before an event was coming up, I would make sure that I would rewatch, at least one or two, events, so I could put reviews up on them. I didn't even get to watch an Extreme Rules show leading up to this year's Extreme Rules. So I'm not sure. Head on over to WWE Network. I think the Mick Foley show tonight is really going to be out of the park dynamite. I know that they went out and they actually shot a Mick Foley comedy show at a real comedy place, and they ended up not really liking what they were doing, and they ended up clipping it up and having it just sort of as a WWE short. But now they're going to be having a whole show put up that they filmed where they do NXT at Full Sail University in Florida, where they actually built the whole set, and they went the nines with it. Mick Foley has said that he basically writes a show, and uses it from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, and then when the next WrestleMania comes, he basically has a whole new set of material, so that way if he goes to a new show, or if he goes to a town that he's been to before, he knows that the people will come, because they're not going to be seeing the same show over again. So maybe this will be a year-long sort of deal, where every year pops up, Foley has a comedy special to show off the set that he finished off his year with. A lot of comedians, they come out with DVDs, or they put their show up on Netflix for everybody to watch, so that way they know that, damn, this guy's funny. Next time he comes to town, I want to see him again. But I'm hoping that Foley comes to Sacramento again. He came here once before WrestleMania 29, because he talked about preparing his WrestleMania Hall of Fame speech for that year, and last year he came to Stockton. He did what was called Stockton Fest, which is like a small convention. He was there. I think, was Al Snow there with him? I think he was, but I'm not 100% sure. But I didn't make it out to go see him that day. But we'll see what's going on with Foley in the future, and checking out the WWE Network tonight. Peace out, everybody.